I used to think broken people looked broken, but the truth is, some of the most shattered souls wear the brightest smiles. This Wednesday on the House Mama Show, I'm sitting down with Shad from Beyond the Shadows. This incredible organization stands alongside families who've lost loved ones to suicide, offering hope when everything feels dark. They're dedicated to suicide prevention and awareness, providing resources that address both the emotional and financial challenges these families face. This is going to be a heart-moving episode that could change someone's life. Tune in Wednesday, December 4th at 5 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel, House Mama Unity and Community Podcast. And please, share this with anyone who might be struggling or could use this message of hope. Sometimes the most important conversations happen when we least expect them.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shannon Scott. I am the host of the House Mama podcast. This week, we are going to be sitting down with Shad Kistler. He's been a good friend of mine for a long time, and we share the same spiritual views, life views, I guess you'll just see here in a few. Last week, we sat down, myself, Marcus, and Lee sat down and talked about duality. We talked about a lot, actually, but right now we're going to do the playback from last week from the duality show. Hello, welcome to the House Mama podcast. I'm Shannon Scott. I am the host of the House Mama podcast. All right, Marcus and Lee, everyone.
This topic, duality, it also correlates to polarity as well. You can say that polarity is interchangeable with duality. And as we learn in ancient texts and in teachings of alchemy and universal law, we learn that without one thing, another can't exist. One thing cannot exist without there being an equal and an opposite of that as well. So this has been ancient knowledge about polarity and duality that we see throughout time being talked about. And it's even talked about in what we call our modern science, which is, Isaac Newton talking about how there cannot be one thing without an equal and opposite reaction. Everything has poles. Everything has its pairs of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degrees.
There cannot be one without the other. However, it's a matter of which one that you feed. We do actually live in a time right now where a lot of people are using duality as you have the spirit and you have the matter. And that is, the heavens and the earth. You can either choose to walk fully in the side of the light, or you can kind of teeter in between the spirit and the matter, which is where a lot of people are right now. A lot of people are really holding on to politics, religion, anything of this physical world, and they're not releasing it to fully live in the spirit. I'm no longer that person, but I still find myself attaching to Shannon and the things that Shannon would have done. And I 100% recognize and own that if I want to continue on, I have to let that side of me
It's
go.
a difficult lesson to learn, though, It's a never-ending lesson.
Oh, it truly
is going to be continuously learned.
Some real things happening in my life right now. I still choose to remain in the spirit because I am not going to make any decision based on anything that living in this world the past 40 years has taught me. That's not how I'm going to respond to any of it. When you make that choice to fully walk in that light and love, live in the spirit over matter, you really then start to understand and recognize that duality doesn't ever have to actually exist. Duality. All right. So like I said, we're going to have Shad Kistler on the show this week, and our shows seemingly lead from one to the other, and this one is no different. Shad shares my same views on a lot of things, including religion. And that's what we do, is try to steer people in the direction of truth. So without further ado, we are going to have Shad Kistler on. Yay.
Hi,
Hello.
Shannon.
Also, guys, there's going to be a QR code. Shad is the president of Beyond the Shadows, which is a nonprofit organization. Right on the top of the screen there's a QR code for you to scan, so you can go to the website, support the nonprofit, support everything that Shad does. So, hello, Shad.
Hello. Kind of excited to be here.
I know, I'm excited to have you.
It's been, I don't know, a journey of procrastination. I think I just waited until yesterday to actually, I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad to be here. I'm looking forward to it. And let's get in and see what we can do. Tell you.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Tell me your story.
My story.
What got you to where you are with it's like I don't even want to say it because I want you to say it. Like,
okay, well,
yeah.
So I'll start here. I think, you say we share a lot of the same views. I'm pretty anti-religious, but I'm still pretty strong Christian, which is, I don't know, I'm different. I think there's a good blend of Eastern mysticism and Christianity in there. Yes. I'm still struggling since 2020 to figure out reality, I guess, or what's real. And I've searched a lot in the last, say, 5 years. But I keep coming back to the reality of who Jesus is in my life. And I guess to get to that point, maybe we should go back and see where that journey started.
Yes, please.
But I would say I'm not like undifferent than most people. I was a pretty rowdy kid. I was rowdier than most. So rowdy, in fact, that by the time I was 16, I thought I drank too much and should quit. So I quit drinking, and but that didn't stop any of the partying. And we'll just say I went crazy, got saved. It was kind of a radical salvation, did the Jesus thing. But probably 2 months into this Jesus thing, and I had a little bit of familiarity with church and stuff like that from my background. Mm-hmm. Growing up as a little kid, your mom makes you go to church and all that stuff.
Right.
But as a young person, I would say 11, 12, 13, you have that deep yearning and desire to fit in and belong and just be a part of stuff. And I wasn't. My sister was more popular. She was the cheerleading captain, the prom queen, all those good things. And I was just like the outcast. And I don't know why I bring these things up, but I specifically remember one time in my bedroom selling my soul to the devil, which was kind of interesting. I don't remember a lot of stuff, but I do remember that. And
how old were you when that happened?
Probably 13. Just that longing to be popular, to be seen, to be recognized by people.
Right.
I just said, hey, if you can make me anybody, my soul's yours to take and do with what you want. Yeah. And I was a pretty rowdy kid at that point, but things got even more out of control after that. Right. And I got into, I would say I wasn't much different than most headbanging, 80s kids.
Yeah.
I kind of dabbled and trickled in Satanism and stuff like that. I would do the scare tactics with my mom and the teachers. I'd carve inverted crosses and pentagrams in my chest and arms and stuff like that. And didn't really even think anything about it, just kind of continued life, got out of that phase, which I thought it was, and still rowdy and crazy. But about 21, I got saved. And the weird thing is that I didn't know. I mean, I've seen spiritual stuff. I mean, in seances and rituals and things like that, you see some pretty dark things. Right. And so I knew that if I believed in God to be who he was, that he was greater than anything I had seen up to that point. And I just happened to be home one day and I had a headache. It started out as a backache, and it just kind of continued up my spine until my head, it felt like something was just squeezing it.
Yes.
And I had my wife at the time, my ex-wife, call some friends and pray for us. And she was a loud, kind of obnoxious person, but loud. I had to hold my hands over my ears just to hear, not a piercing sound.
Right.
She was standing across the room on the phone. And this would have been in the 90s, right? So a long time ago, on the phone with somebody asking for prayer. And he was a soft-spoken person, but I could hear him like I was standing next to him. Not like he was on the phone, like I was standing next to him. That's how amplified everything was.
Yep.
And then they just started praying for me. And that's when three-way calling became popular. And so they started a little prayer chain. And I just remember sitting on the bed thinking, I feel like I'm going to puke. And so I had my ex-wife grab me a box, because we was poor. We didn't really have a trash can. So we had a box with a trash bag in it. And all of a sudden I just opened my mouth and I felt all this pressure in my gut just come forth. And I probably could have projectile vomited, 15 or 20 feet, it seemed like. And then I passed out. And then I woke up the next day and I was free. I was able to walk. And I don't know how to explain it. It felt like I was walking on air, though. That's all I can.
Yep.
And so I bring that up to, these are some of the things that have cemented who Christ is in me.
Yes.
From, my young age. And then I wasn't a very smart guy as a youth. I barely graduated high school. I don't know that I ever really read more than one book, maybe two, as a kid.
Right.
I never did homework. I didn't do any of that stuff. But when I became a Christian, I just had this strong yearning to learn who God was and what this was all about.
Yeah.
And so I just started reading the Bible, and I didn't know nothing about it. There were times that I slobbered, I ate so much LSD. I was a ding dong. But crispy critter, I was burnt out, so to speak. But I was able to, something triggered when that deliverance happened. And I was able to learn, half the New Testament, just memorize it. I could quote scripture by scripture by scripture. And it's just how things went with me. And then, life happens. We had 4 kids, and then I got a divorce. I got into drugs real bad. I was the radical religious type Christian. I followed all the rules. I did all the stuff. If it told you to give this much, I gave more. If it told you to do this, I always done more than what was, in the rules and regulations.
Right.
And then, I wouldn't even watch a PG-13 movie because it wasn't good enough for my kids. And if it was going to harm them in society's mind, then why would I allow that stuff to me? And I just say all that to bring up a religious mindset that I had as a person.
Yep.
And I go from that to 6 months later, through my separation, I'm shooting a 1/4 ounce of Coke a day. And I crash. I get angry at God. I hate God. I flip him off. And I live literally every decision in my life at that point is, what can I do to hurt God?
Right.
And that's how I lived for several years. But I realized that I really wasn't hurting him. I was just destroying myself and my family. So I pulled my head out of my ass mostly. And about 2013, I don't know, I had another encounter where life was just horrible. And I knew the only thing that was going to help me was Jesus. So I decided to go back to church at that point and start this thing all over. Now, in my previous tenure as a Christian, I was heavily involved in ministry. I worked for ministry. I was in full-time ministry. I mean, everything I did revolves around ministry.
Right.
I've learned that the only thing that brings me peace is helping others. But anyway, 2013, I come back and I decide that we wanted, I get involved in church, and my heart is to help, I guess, people that have been in areas that I've been in.
Right.
So when I was young, I wanted to be a youth pastor because I know the struggles and the pain of being an unwanted and unloved and unseen youth. So my heart was there. And then obviously, when I come back and in the recovery, I wanted to help those people that struggled with addiction because that's where my heart was.
Yep.
And so we started a recovery program in Lancaster, Cornerstone Recovery. And it was a lot of fun. That's where I met you.
Yeah.
I mean, hundreds of other people. I mean, it got really successful. God did some amazing things there.
Very much so.
And I think it was simply because I took all the religion out of it. And I just told people to let God embrace them for who they are. That they didn't have to be anybody special. It didn't have to be anybody different. That God was willing to be there for them. And then after a while, we did this second meeting, and I called it CR Plus. And so I would take this room, and it usually dwindled down to about 20 or 30 people. And I would take this small room of people that were all probably in the last 6 months on drugs. And I don't mean just a little bit. I mean, there was, we both know people that used to shoot up in their necks and just crazy stuff. But these room of the unwanteds, it's almost like the island on the Christmas movie where all the unwanted toys go. That's kind of we refer to ourselves.
Those are my favorite people.
And it was just amazing to see them. And all I did was facilitate an area and encourage people to understand that the same God that created the universe lives fully and completely inside of them. Yes. And all the gifts is all there inside them. And 10 years of ministry and Bible study doesn't qualify somebody to hear from God, to act on God's behalf, to et cetera, et cetera. And we were able to just do all kinds of things because of freedom. And I think that's really what it boiled down to, is because of freedom. Yes. We weren't trying to push a denomination. I had kind of gathered people from a Presbyterian, Pentecostal, Baptist backgrounds. And our heart was just to help people. And it was very successful in a small town. I mean, we would have, upwards of 80 or 90 people in a recovery meeting on a Monday night on the west side of Lancaster, which is, if you know that area, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the deliverance thing, I don't know. I'm looking at my notes, and I circled it a lot and underlined it because I feel like somebody needs to know, I don't know, that the power that's available is really available to all of us. We just have to open our hearts and let it be.
Yes.
So, and the recovery thing was working really good, and I thought I found who I was, but I still had this angst against religion. But here I am, and I'm associate pastor in a Christian church, but I'm really anti-religious, and I don't know how to explain it other than that God's grace is greater than anything that man could do.
Yes.
And then about 2020, things had transitioned. We were in a new building. I remember this day pretty clearly. I was on the phone with a lady that used to come to CR, and my son had called. I have 4 kids, 2 girls. And I didn't answer because I don't usually answer. But he called right back. And so I told her, I said, hey, this is an emergency. My son's calling back. And he said, Dad, you got to get over here. So I left and went over to his apartment. He lived with my other son and my daughter. And I got there and he was just crying. Well, I went upstairs and my oldest son had committed suicide. And that changed absolutely everything for me. Yeah, I mean, it literally changes everything. And then a lot of that, I'm going to have to go to my notes because that's just what, but yeah, that changes everything. That day was, I mean, obviously it's going to be a day that you can't forget about, right? It's right. It's stuck there. But I would say that took me on a journey, because in ministry, you know, we were, I don't know how you want to call that. We were charismatic. We weren't, I trained people how to work in the supernatural at church. I could walk up in a ministry setting, and if somebody wanted prayer or something, as I walked up to them, I could see and understand and feel everything that they're going through. I could know their past, their future, what God has set out for them. And it really upset me that I didn't know any of this about my son. I had learned with my divorce that I didn't want to get angry with God, because that led me to a really dark place. And so I didn't want to question God, because God's greater than I am. I didn't want to question a lot of things. I didn't want to build resentments and hatred and anger. I just wanted to come to some answers. And the biggest conclusion I could come up with is that there was something inside me and my belief, my perspective, that was wrong. So it really led me on a journey, a spiritual journey. And so for the next couple of years, and matter of fact, up until now, the only time I pick up my Bible is when I go to a small group twice a month. But it led me on a journey outside of Scripture. And I looked into all kinds of different old religions, not so much Buddhism and things of that nature, but Hermetics. And I just started seeing overlays of who Christ is and different religions, and things kept pushing me away from church, but somehow in there, that connection that I have with Christ couldn't be severed, broken, torn, reduced, nothing. So as I read some of these, and I'll say they're truths in these other scriptures and holy texts, yes, they really resonated with me. And I've been probably the last 4 or 5 years trying to figure out how to tie all this in with Christ, this new perspective on. But in my mind, it's not that hard, because all that stuff that they say that we need to work for to reach this enlightenment or this new perspective is, from a Christian standpoint, I get that immediately when I accept who Christ is. Yes. And so that freedom of what he done on the cross allows me to step into this new realm of enlightenment and live his life, not necessarily my life. Anyway, but 2020 really led me on a journey to make me go, I don't know if it's to find out who I am or who we are in this world. I know this, I haven't come to a conclusion of anything yet, right? I feel like I'm still digging and searching, and but I'm more confident now than I was, say, 6 months ago about the reality of who Christ is in me. And I don't know, it's really hard, but 2020 did a lot of things to me. It tore me up physically, mentally, emotionally. I got really sick. I lost 100 pounds in 6 months. Then went on a journey for gut healing and realized that depression and anxiety and all the things that I was feeling really caused the dis-ease in my gut, that caused the dis-ease in my body. And I've just been on this crazy journey of learning and trying to figure out really what life's about. Started a business in 2020 when I left the ministry, and that's great. But it in the last 5 years, it's done. I mean, it's paid my bills. It's brought, given me toys and whatnot, but hasn't brought me any satisfaction of who I am and what I'm doing. And so June of this year, I've wanted to do something, not in honor of my son, but kind of in honor of him, but also in honor of the brokenness that I feel. Again, I'm back to that point that my heart wants to help heal those hearts that are like mine. So fathers or mothers that have lost a child, siblings that have lost, a brother or sister. Sometimes it's an aunt or an uncle that's taking care of their nephew or niece. Or to me, it doesn't really matter who it is, but I want to go on this journey now of healing hearts. And obviously our focus is on those who have lost loved ones to suicide. And I want to get in there and kind of offer, and I don't know what I have to offer. People ask me, well, what do you have to offer people that have lost loved ones? And I said, nothing. I have me. I have a willing heart, ear, and a hug coming from somebody that's been in your shoes. And that's really all that I have. So far, I'm working on more, but that's kind of where we want to go. But in June, I've wanted to do this for several years, but like I said, 2020 changed me, and I don't have the great ideas. I have that little spark of momentum, but I don't have I don't want to call it the drive or the passion, because it's still in there turning and twisting and making me, but I don't know. I don't have to get things rolling all the time. So in June, I finally said, I posted on Facebook, hey, I'm going to start a nonprofit and we're going to have a poker run this year. And by doing that, I forced myself into a corner where I had to do something. So in 90 days, I was able to develop the nonprofit, get our 501c3, plan a poker run, plan a car show, plan a merchant, the whole event. And it was good. It was really, really good. It was successful. Yes, and I just want to take that and build something where we can help people. I mean, yes, my heart is to family members of suicide victims, but people are hurting everywhere. And it doesn't matter if it's suicide or a job loss or a relationship.
Yes.
There are little reasons in some people's eyes, huge reasons in other people's eyes, that life isn't worth living anymore. And so as much as I want to help on the postvention, my heart is really gearing towards the prevention and awareness side, because there's a lot of people out there that are hurting.
Yes.
And I had a friend of mine just call me the other day, and he was like, oh, I really didn't want anything. I just wanted to say hi and chit chat. But do you know, little calls like that reduce somebody wanting to commit suicide almost in half. So, and it's hard because 90% of the time I wouldn't have answered that phone call.
Yeah.
And most people in our situation wouldn't answer that phone call.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm saying all that to say that we just need to try harder to reach out to people. So I think with Beyond the Shadows, I want to be able to go into somebody's home or visit them, send them information on grief and how to deal with it. I want to offer them a hug. I would love to be able to offer somebody in the local area cleaning services for a couple of weeks, food, because it really does wreck your life. And everything still has to go on, but you can't really go on to do it. So I want to offer those things to people, and then we want to try to work in some prevention and awareness things. But that's in a nutshell, Shannon, of who I am and what brought me to what we're doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shad Kistler. This is Now You Would Podcast. Because I was literally just listening and watching, like I was on the actual audience side. I was so deep enthralled. You can probably see the glaze in my eyes. That's everything that we do. That's everything that the whole reason that we do the podcast. The whole reason Marcus and I collaborate. I can't even top anything you just said. I don't even know how you managed to nutshell that the way that you did.
I don't either. But
wow.
I don't know. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I have to push myself to do more, or I won't, because I'm pretty content doing nothing.
Same. You get to that point.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to what God's got in store. I'd like to learn more on different things, but really my heart is I just want to try to figure out how to help people. So I have big ideas. I don't know if any of them will come to pass. I'm going to give away my motorcycle. I'm going to, I think the key to most things, because I was brought up kind of word of faith. I don't know if any of that anyway. So if you're in the church world, I was brought up that prosperity preacher kind of way. So I'm very big on giving into something before I start something.
Yes.
Whether it's my heart, my mind, my emotions, my finances. And so for Beyond the Shadows to be big, I have to give something in order for that to happen. And so I was going to give my motorcycle away as a raffle to raise money so we could just kick things off. I mean, my heart, I'd like to have a building. I don't know, Shannon. My mind goes in so many different places. It's hard to say. But obviously living in the country, in the rural areas, I have a heart for the rural youth because there's nothing out here for them, for those that are struggling with, suicidal thoughts and mental health problems. And mental health out here in the country looks a little different than I think in town. You go to, I don't know. But my heart's just to help people, and that's what I want to do.
I still don't know what to say. I swear, I'm just sitting over here listening. I can listen and listen and listen. That's crazy. It's crazy.
But so with that being said, I don't know. Beyond the Shadows in my heart, so here's my struggle since I started in June of 2025 is that I jumped into this without doing any kind of research on what other nonprofits were around that did things like this. Fairfield County is not huge. And once we got started, I realized that there were two other nonprofits doing kind of the same thing we are for the same reasons. One lost her nephew, one lost her son. And now I feel like I'm competing, and I don't like to compete because I'm not trying to wiggle my way into somebody else's space.
Right.
So when I set the date on the stuff, I didn't even look to see what else was going on. There was another event the next day, basically mirroring what I was doing. It wasn't a poker run, but it did have a car show and, things to buy. What do they call them?
Raffles?
Merchant events,
Oh.
and raffles, obviously.
Okay. Yay.
But now my mind's trying to figure out how I can incorporate so we can all work together.
That's what I'm hearing, collaborate.
Yes, because I think
community, man. Unity and community.
Community makes everything better. And a friend of mine who actually lost her son to suicide probably a couple of weeks before our event. She works for the state, and she was talking to me about all this stuff that I want to do with BTS. And she's like, Shad, listen, you were doing all this stuff in your recovery program before it was even a thing at the state or federal level.
Yes.
Peer support's really big nowadays, especially in recovery and trauma and things like that.
Yes.
Peer support is huge.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Shad, you were training peers to train peers before peer support was even a thing. Yeah. She said, so you don't have to worry or be concerned about what you're doing.
Nope.
So we're going to try to create a hub, so to speak, where we can co-join with the other, suicide or awareness nonprofits in our area. And I asked her if we could make it so it's, duplicable. So we can go into, say, Marion County, or Vinton County's got the highest suicide rate in Ohio. Can we go down in that area and build a hub where other nonprofits can know what's going on with everybody? One thing she said she saw.
Lead the way.
Yeah.
Lead
she
the
saw
way.
that there was a lot of people, there just wasn't a lot of collaboration. So one nonprofit would give this amount of money. The next nonprofit would basically copycat what they were doing.
Right.
But it still leaves a big void in families' lives, because then they have to figure out how they're going to incorporate that money and do this and that. Where if, one nonprofit could work in and say, hey, we're going to come in and do your house cleaning for 2 weeks. And then, we can contribute funds to maybe groceries and things like that. And then the other nonprofit can contribute money to a funeral. And then we all work together and we kind of know what's going on. So hopefully we can do that. But really, I just want to help heal hurting hearts.
That's what we do. And a lot of people have, people come down on me quite a bit because I do post, things out of the Bible. Obviously, I know God is real. I speak about Jesus, but it is not. So people have called me a loving Christian, is what they call me. It's actually what my witch friends, my pagan friends call me, as a loving Christian. Because we are trying so hard to get people to understand that it doesn't matter. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is what's in your heart. What are you doing? Your intention. That's what it is. It's your intention behind everything that you do.
And it's weird that the term they gave you, the name they gave you, loving Christian, because that should be the term for all Christians, not just the special ones.
Really. I laughed about it at first myself. I was like, okay. But the more I started to understand, like you understand, I did a lot of research. I have my whole life though. But when I started to become, more knowledgeable on Jesus, just like you have, it's so wild that you're saying all this stuff. The more I really understood what they meant when they called me a loving Christian.
Yeah.
Because so many people are confused about what Christianity really is. And it's actually a chakra. If you research that far, there is actually a Christ consciousness chakra that sits at the back of your head right here. Okay. So I don't know if when you felt that pressure, because I had the same awakening as you. It came up the back of my neck, back of my head here, and into my eyes. And I was 22 when that happened.
Yeah.
So,
21 or just prior to 21. And the funny thing was
your ages, because it's crazy how much we have in common when it comes to that. Yeah. Wow. I'm tripping over my words because I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting that connection. Yeah. So I was 22 when that happened. That was my first spiritual awakening. I was 22 years old. And I was baptized. I was baptized and got my first communion as Catholic. And then I was rebaptized, excuse me, when I was 22. And then that's when I kind of started to trail off from the church. My daughter had, problems growing up, and I had brought her to church with me, and she went to the little kid play area while I was in church, and they actually came and pulled me out of church and told me that we had to leave. So it was in that moment that I also then separated from the church, but my faith never faltered.
Yeah.
And I try really hard to, I work with people that are, they're atheists. They, and I work with them a lot to try to help them understand the real meaning of God, the real meaning of the person that Jesus was, the real meaning behind the word, the term, Christianity. So people always ask me what I am, and I have absolutely no idea, because I'm not one thing. My beliefs come from the truth. So it's crazy how much we have in common with that. I wasn't expecting it. I'm never with a lack of words, I swear. And I'm sitting there like, listening, man, that was wild.
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people have a lot more in common than we truly believe. So
yeah, that's another reason that we have to speak the truth about things. Is people are getting really lost in the ideals behind all religions.
Well, I just think we get caught up. This literally just popped in my head right now. So religion to me is a lot like media and social media. It's just a lot of noise hiding the truth.
Yes.
Yes,
it's those shadows, man. Those shadows. That's exactly what it is.
But religion really hides the truth. Media and social media keep us from the truth.
Yes.
I mean, I guess in a lot of sense it brings us truth, but at the same time it keeps us away from it just keeps us sidetracked mentally, I think. But I don't know, Shannon.
That's truth is love, though. I posted something the other day on Facebook saying that I'm not that kind of friend that just lets you sit in your bad decisions. We have to speak the truth to people. We have to tell them. It's important. They have to know they're loved. They can't know that they can't be continuing to think that, because religion says this, or that's not the point of it. That's not the basis of it, man.
Yeah.
That's why you see the heart. Yeah.
And I come to this conclusion, because my son was a Satanist. Malachi, the one that killed himself, he was a Satanist. Actually, most of my kids are. My daughter's got 666 on her neck, real big. None of it bothers me. But some lady, the following week when I went back to church, some lady come up to me and she's like, Shad, I just want you to know that I see your son in heaven. And I'm like, okay, well, I just want you to know that I'm not saying I don't believe you, but if you knew my son, you probably wouldn't say that. And they were like, why? And I was like, well, he wasn't a Christian. He was literally a Satanist.
Yeah.
She said, I don't know. She said, I don't know. All I know is that I have a strong feeling that your son is in heaven. And her husband, he walked up and he said, listen, I've never heard that woman say anything with this kind of confidence and not be wrong or not be right. And I was like, okay. And I just, that goes completely against everything Christians believe.
Yeah.
That a Satanist could go to heaven. So it led me on another kind of thinking journey about who Christ is and what's going on. And I have a hard time believing that whether there's a heaven or hell, I haven't even come to that conclusion yet. I don't know that that's important, but I have a hard time coming to the conclusion that God is a judgmental God and would send somebody, if there was a hell, to hell based on a perception, because most people aren't Christians because their perceptions of Christians are assholes. Right. My favorite bumper sticker that I've ever seen said, yes, Jesus loves you, but everybody else thinks you're an asshole.
Yeah.
I think that hits the nail on the head perfectly. Yep. And so I come to this mindset that if I go to heaven and I decided not to accept Christ as my savior, this whole Christian thing that people do, because my perspective is based on a bunch of Christians that don't act out of love, they act out of religion. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, is God really going to hold me accountable for that? Or is he going to hold the people that made my perspective anti-Christ, anti-Christian? Do you see what I'm saying? So I think if there is a heaven or whatever, we have an opportunity to really hear and see truth. Yes. Jesus, when he walked the earth, there was, and I can't think of the scripture right now, but he was talking to a rich young ruler, I think. But in there it said that Jesus looked at him and loved him. And this guy said, what do I need to do to get into heaven? And, Jesus said, well, you know all the commands. And he listed them all. I've done all these. I didn't done all these. But just that little sentence that said Jesus looked at him and loved him. It didn't say he can, it tried to change his mind, say this, do this. It just said that Jesus looked at him and loved him. And I think if we come from that perspective, that Jesus is just looking at us, loving us,
yes,
then all the other stuff just kind of melts away. Yes. And I think we get that opportunity when we encounter who he is, whether it's in death, life, heaven, hell, whatever that is. When we have that encounter with him, get to see that real love, that real light, that real truth. And then that's our opportunity to say yes or no. Yes. But that's just, I have nothing to back that up other than my mind.
Which is exactly what you need to back it up, because that's your higher self speaking to you to tell you truth, because then you're going to start speaking that truth to other people.
Yeah.
So that's not actually your mind. That's your remembering is what we coin that as.
Okay.
Remembering. Man. Yeah. God is nothing but love. I've told people, God doesn't know anything other than love. It doesn't exist. That's what those archangels are for, because those archangels don't play. They're the ones that, they're the ones that do the protecting. Right. But all God is love. So, and Jesus was the prophet. He came and he, prophesied and was speaking the word of God, which was love. So he washed the feet,
Serve.
Yeah. That's why you have all the ascended masters. Jesus is an ascended master. I really don't know how far into your journey I'm sure pretty far, but yeah, that is the truth of it. So, yeah.
But in all that, I don't know. You say all that to basically just say that I have a heart and a desire to love on people. I've struggled in the last 5 years. I've always been kind of you always have bouts of depression, et cetera, et cetera. But the last 5 years has really fucked with me bad. I mean, it's changed me so much that I can't comprehend it. And where before I used to just be able to say, no, I'm going to do this, and you can go and do it. Right. And now I can't. I struggle a lot. This brain thing is really
war.
Huh?
It's a spiritual war.
Well, something's going to have to break soon, because we're going to have to get up on the up and up.
You're getting there. You are. This is a spiritual warfare. I tell people that all the time too. Which God, Nostradamus talked about this. This time that we're living in right now, and it actually began in 2020. Which, so it's not odd that it started for you in 2020.
Yeah.
If you start researching into it, and you'll see this point in time has been prophesized for hundreds of years. The people that are here right now doing the work that you're doing the work that I'm doing, we were specifically placed here at this point in time to do what we're doing, because we're in the literal middle of a spiritual war. So
I feel that.
A lot of people are really focused on politics, religion, things of this world, which is making them lack in seeing and understanding that it's actually spiritual. So
I think all that
World War III is spiritual.
Yeah. I think all that stuff's created for division, to keep us confused and divided.
Yep.
I think that was the real reason for religion, to keep us divided and confused. I think that's the real reason for politics.
Yep.
Left or right.
Yep.
Is just to keep us divided and confused.
Just like you were saying earlier, you could walk up to someone and you'd know their life path, and I have the same gift. It's heavy.
Yeah.
But yes, it is heavy.
I don't like it.
I am fighting with it constantly. I'm constantly telling people I've tried to break my contract and they absolutely will not let me. I don't really want to at the end of the day, though. I love guiding people and walking people home. That's literally what we do. But yeah, that's the entire reason that all of it was created, was to keep you unaware of the fact that you do have gifts and that everybody can open their gifts. You just have to literally open to the light, which is God. God is the light.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did want to mention, with all the things that I've struggled with over the last, say, 5 years, the mental health, it's crazy having a son, that committed suicide. And I know and understand the pain, but it's hard to imagine that those thoughts still are pretty prevalent in me. And then the more I look and talk and just gander at life, I see that men are struggling everywhere. People are struggling everywhere. It's insane. It's insane. The amount of
time for it, because it's about to get a lot worse too.
Yeah.
These are gifts that I have. Yeah, I'm capable of, which I think you and I have talked about. It's going to get a lot worse over the next probably 3 years. So you're here in this exact moment for this exact reason, because of that. And it's difficult for you on your end because, man, that dark really likes to plummet the light. I struggle with a lot of things. I call them attachments. I can get rid of them. They are attachments. They're so much as you believe in the light, you have to also know that there is dark, and it does most definitely come for you. And I struggle with that at times. The people that I'm around, what I specifically do with them, I bring home that dark with me. That's just one of my many roles. So yeah, it sits with me for a while and it starts to peck at me. It starts to eat at my thoughts. But it's always that whisper that I hear, that whisper of keep going, that whisper of don't give up, don't listen. And it helps get rid of that dark that comes in. It's always going to try to dim you.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Just encourage anybody that's listening today that if you're in a place and you're struggling and you can't figure out, again, this is something that I deal with daily, but if you're in a place where you're struggling and emotions and life and all of this just gets to feeling so hard that maybe you don't want to commit suicide, or maybe you don't want to end it all, you just want relief from the pain, the idea of futile existence, I would just encourage you just to kind of let go and ask God to show you something today. Understand that you are cared for, you are loved and adored way more than you've ever been told and probably ever will believe. And know that reach out to somebody, become part of a community, build relationships, and this is hard for me because I struggle with that, right? I'm not a very friendly person. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't reach out. I don't I don't do any of that. I don't ask people for help. If somebody calls me, even on a bad day, and says, Shad, how you doing? I'm okay. It's always okay, right? But I just want to encourage you, if that's you, maybe find somebody to reach out to if you can. Maybe just journal. Maybe just go on in a very intensive conversation with God. And you may or may not hear something, but I want to let you know that God's not really a respecter of persons. He'll talk to you if you really listen. That was one of the things that we trained really hard on. And that it's not based, these are people that sat in this room that were, again, addicts. And I mean, everybody that society would cast them out, they were in this room, and I would tell them that God thought they were special and that they were important, that they had the capability to hear what God said. And when they sat down and broke those walls of shame and not good enough and all of this stuff, they were able to sit back to people and know what the person behind them was going through. And they didn't even know who was behind them. They just said, I feel blah, blah, blah. And that person would be like, yes, that's it. That's exactly what I'm feeling. So yes, I say all that to say, stretch and reach for God and asking to bring a little bit of light and peace to your life. Understand that those random people that you might meet on the street somewhere, they could be an angel in disguise to bring you a good word. Or maybe they're an angel in disguise that you need to bring a good word to. But always be on the lookout to do what you can for somebody else. And I think sometimes when we let the focus off ourselves, and this is hard because it's our pain, our experience, it's our things that are bringing us down in this hole. But if we can look to others sometimes, it really takes the focus and the pain away from who we are and what's in us.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Shoo! Shad. I don't even know what to say. I really don't. I just.
But I mean, I don't have much. You guys want to hang out with Beyond the Shadows? We're trying to do things. We'd love to do. I'm about building community, so I don't want your money per se. Yes, send me all your money. But at the same time, I want to build a community. See, I would like to, there's different ways that we can help out in awareness and prevention. Did you know that people in nursing homes struggle with suicidal thoughts and stuff like that? So, my wife come up with an idea. Well, maybe we can just do Valentine's cards, Christmas cards. Instead of ordering them, why don't we get a bunch of people together and make a bunch of them? See, now we're not just helping those people in the nursing home. We're building a community of people that's doing something for the community. But there's just tons of different ways I would love to get involved in the community and build community, but it takes a lot of resources. So I'm working on those. So
I've got resources too.
Yeah, I need big resources.
I would love to help in any way.
Yeah. So I have my eye on a building, but my resources aren't that large right yet. So
they will be.
Yes, I see it happening.
Yeah.
But I would love to build a community gathering place where we can just come together and chit chat, have fun, eat. I think all fellowship should revolve around food.
Absolutely.
And just share life, not religion.
I love that you say that. I love that. It's time. It's time to start steering people to healing and not fear and not control.
Right.
Because that's not in any way what the Bible says. That's not what God is talking about. No. And you really have to read between the lines in the Bible. It's been,
I don't think you do. I think you read between the lines to get religion.
No, that's true. That is true.
I think it's pretty clear. It's when you meddle in all these different, denominations and theologies and all this stuff that's when things get muddy. But if you just look at who Jesus was and what he did and what he said, it's pretty simple.
Yeah. Oh, the answers are right there.
Yeah. I mean,
most people go straight to the punishment and the fear part, though, and that's what steers them away.
Yep. And it's not about punishment and fear.
No, not in any way.
Punishment and fear is, I don't want to minimize it, but on the base level of it, it's really just a construct in our mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, Shad, I'm so glad that you were on.
Well, I'm glad I finally, I could have done this, a month ago?
Yeah.
I pushed it out as far as I could. I don't know.
Listen, come on again.
Well,
tell me more.
you come up with some ideas that we can talk about, and I would love to sit down and just chit chat.
Oh man, I would just love to sit here and listen to you chat about anything.
Yeah, well,
man, that was powerful. That was a powerhouse, dude. Seriously.
I don't know. That was just a little bit of stuff. So.
Well, I know.
That's way bigger than that, I can promise you.
I know, I can feel it because I can feel the energy around me. It makes me, I can't explain it. It makes my head feel like it expands when I
Yeah. God is good.
Yeah. Wow. I don't even know. I swear I'm never without words. We all know this. I'm literally just sitting and basking in the energy of your words.
Well, I don't think they're my words.
Your life, everything that you said, and it's everything that I'm always talking about. People act like I'm insane for saying that I have these gifts, but it's so normal for me. And it's because of my belief in God. It's not even a belief. It's because I am aware that it's real, and I live it.
I think that's it.
Huh?
The awareness part.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm completely open to it, and I know of its existence. I've seen it even in my darkest days. I know what's beyond here anyway. Yeah, I am just sitting in the energy of everything. My body was trembling at one point.
Wow.
So
that, I mean, I don't feel like I'm anybody special. I don't know that, since I become a Christian, everybody says that I have a gift, that I'm called, blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily believe that. I mean, I do to an extent, but yet I don't. I think we're all part of that. It was kind of weird. I was a very young Christian. I remember the first time I heard God's voice. It was pretty interesting. So, I was a heavy pot smoker before I got saved. And my wife and we couldn't have a kid. We tried to get pregnant, couldn't. And so I got saved, obviously decided I shouldn't smoke weed because it was bad then. And so one night, my wife and I would go to bed, do our thing. I'm laying there smoking a cigarette because I still smoked at this time. I'm only a 3-month-old Christian at this point. And I'm laying in bed smoking a cigarette. And it was like you talking to me. I heard inside my heart say, your wife just got pregnant. It's going to be a girl, and you're going to name her Trinity. And I remember laying in bed smoking my Marlboro Red, and I looked at my ex-wife and I said, hey, you just got pregnant, and we're going to have a girl. And she laughed at me. And I said, I don't know what to tell you. This is just what I heard this in my heart, and I feel it 110%. And she didn't really believe me. I don't want to say she didn't. She kind of did, but she had her hesitations, right? And then we go to the doctor and try to do sonograms and all that. He's like, well, I guess we'll never know. And I'm like, Doc, it's a girl. I know it's a girl. Her name's Trinity. And sure enough, when she was born, it was a girl, but he covered her up and he said, guess what it is? And I just laughed. And I said, well, it's a girl. Her name's Trinity. And he said, you were right the whole time. I don't understand it. I don't know. I guess I said all that just to say, listen, I was a 3-month-old Christian that had no skill, nobody to teach me, nobody to train me. I was just there.
Yeah.
And I was hungry for who God was. He's always talking. We're just not always listening.
I tell people all the time to just listen.
Listen.
Man.
Yeah. He gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so we could listen twice as much as we talk.
That's what I feel like I'm doing right now. This is your podcast now. Oh my gosh, Shad. Wow.
But How long do you
anything else that you want to say? God, that was wild.
I said way more than I wanted to.
Really? I feel like I could continue listening. Seriously.
Well, if I had anything, I probably would, but I didn't even have what I said. That's just
that's the flow.
Yeah. That's all the notes I had. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's there's like 6 lines there, you know.
You just go. Well, it comes right through. It actually beams right through the top of your head, so I can see that.
I got a hat on, so
yeah, it does. It comes right into and it's all behind you too.
Okay, well,
and it's bright. It's very bright.
It's here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's all around you. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I don't consider myself super spiritual. I don't see stuff. I do. I don't know. I'm just not a super spiritual person. So when we were doing the CR Plus thing, I had people around me that were more spiritual, so to speak. You know, they were more aware. I don't know the terms to use, but they were on top of the terms way more than I am. I always question gifts and things inside of me. So I really don't think I'm all that.
Stop questioning it.
Well,
it takes a lot to shut me up. You hear me? So, yeah, don't question that. There's so much I could say to you.
So say it.
Question it. Don't question. Oh, it's all super spiritual, though. It's part of my gifts and what I know and what I see and what I understand. You are chosen 100%. And we were talking about this earlier, earlier today. Some people are here to lead the way. So that's exactly who you are. Some people, and it's not some people are chosen. Everyone has the abilities, but some people are picked to lead the way. Yeah, 100%. That's on that right-hand side. And that's what I'm hearing. You're on the right-hand side. So, and that's truth. And that's actually historical truth too. So it's biblical and spiritual. There's always been people. He's sending in the horn. Yup, because he knows what I'm saying is true. I was like, what he had to say about it, man, because I'm telling you, there are people that are picked to lead the way, and that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Is there a tornado?
No, he sends that. He sends that siren in when he's like, you know.
Oh, okay.
Calling in the lead.
Like, okay. I thought it was something in the background.
Mm-mm. Your heart is what. Your heart.
That one I can tell.
You
got a crowd back here?
Yes, literally.
Oh, well, thank you. Why didn't you do that earlier?
Huh? I know. I'm happy when people come in. No, take your leadership, man. It's good to be. I mean, I understand humility because I'm the same way. There's a lot that I don't say. A whole lot that I don't say. But humility is a necessity for leadership. So, and that you are heart led. You can't lead with. I don't care how intelligent you are. You can't lead from intelligence. You have to lead from heart center. You have to, or else you're leading from a business perspective. You're leading from that ego on this earth. When you're heart center led, that's handpicked, my dude. So you can take that for what it is, but yeah.
I do try to lead with a heart. The heart's, but then again, the Bible does say the heart is wicked above everything else. Just to be careful. We just have to, because man's heart is really ego driven.
Very much.
The spirit heart is not.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of got to distinguish between which heart we listen to.
And that's why you lead. Because of what you just said. That's my whole point.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try. I've been out of the light for a long time. And
no.
Out of the spotlight, so to speak. I've hidden. I've done a lot of hiding. And I'm perfectly content with hiding. I like hiding. But I know that there are people hurting. And so I can't hide forever. So
that's the only reason that I come out of hiding, is to help people.
Yeah.
Because aside from that, I won't see people for months. Not one soul, aside from my son.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to come out as well. And
I kind of like it. I kind of like hiding.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's quiet. It's peaceful. I'm very connected with spirit, and I love it.
But so, yeah, we'll see where things go from here, Miss Shannon. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes.
If there's more you want to pull for me,
Oh man, I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna figure it out, and then I'm gonna have you on again, because we could sit here for hours. I'm not kidding. I don't care.
That's really useless knowledge, and useful, but useless.
No, it's completely useful.
I have both. So.
Oh, we all do, yeah.
But let's see what we can do about changing some hearts. And if you are out there struggling, just understand that the only thing that keeps me on this earth really are my kids, right? If it wasn't for them, I probably would have done the same thing my son did. But I know and understand that pain way too much to let it drive me to that. So I just let it push me to help others. Well, I try to let it push me to help others. But understand, if you're feeling those ways and thinking those thoughts, you're not alone. Just let life win. That's a hashtag we started using a few weeks ago. And when I mentioned it to somebody, he's like, I don't understand it. He said, life sometimes just throws you a bunch of shit. Why do I want to let that win? I said, no, that's not what it's talking about. I said, when you're going through those daily struggles, and when you don't want life to win, when you want life to end, when you want this mundane existence to be gone, that's when we choose to let life win. So we just choose to keep breathing, to keep moving, to keep helping and loving others, so we can move forward in life. So let life win.
I'm seriously still over here like dead listening to everything you have to say. My gosh.
And I'm not a good closer, so.
Oh no, that's fine. I do the closing. So, oh yeah, man, I'm glad you came on though. Seriously.
Me too, Shannon. I'm sorry I waited so long to do it.
Oh, I'm ready for you to be on again. We're going to be talking about that real soon.
Okay, well, let's do it.
All right. Thanks for being on, Shad.
Thanks for having me, Shannon.
We'll see ya.
All righty, take care.
Wow. Man, if you follow anything that I talk about, anything that I post, anything that we are about with this podcast, you will understand why I'm in just complete awe right now. I still am failing in words, which I mean everybody knows is strange for me. Wow. I highly recommend you follow anything that Shad does. Beyond the Shadows. Get on his website, follow his nonprofit, donate, help, send anything and everything that you have to promote what he does. My goodness. Man. I really can't top that. So he, led the way completely. Wow. Okay. So no one told you guys today. I love you. We are all just walking each other home. See ya.
Your cleaning products are slowly poisoning your family. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. I'm here to expose what's really lurking in your everyday household products and how it's affecting everyone you love. Welcome to Whispers of Wellness, organic home living, where we're pulling back the curtain on the chemical industry. Our team of homesteaders, herbalists, and shamanic practitioners are combining cutting-edge science with ancient wisdom to show you exactly how to protect your family. This isn't just another health podcast. We're going live so you can ask questions in real time, get hands-on demos, and join a movement that's cleaning up our earth one home at a time. Episode 1 drops this Saturday, December 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Facebook. Don't let another day pass wondering what's really in your home.